We turn now from the results of vaccine disinformation to its origins. New reporting for the New York Times is shedding a light on people actually getting paid to spread misinformation online. Reading from the report, quote, in May, several French and German social media influencers received a strange proposal. A London-based public relations agency, Phazi, wanted to pay them to promote falsehoods tarring Pfizer-BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccine. Stranger still, Phazi claimed a London address where there is no evidence any such company exists. Some recipients posted screenshots of the offer, exposed Phazi scrubbed its social media accounts. That same week, Brazilian and Indian influencers posted videos echoing Phazi's script to hundreds of thousands of viewers. The scheme appears to be part of a secretive industry that security analysts and American officials say is exploding in scale. Disinformation for hire. Private firms straddling traditional marketing and the shadow world of geopolitical influence operations are selling services once conducted principally by intelligence agencies. They sow discord, meddle in elections, seed false narratives, and push viral conspiracies, mostly on social media. And they offer clients something precious: deniability. Joining us now is the author of that piece, international reporter and columnist for the New York Times, Max Fisher. Also with us, former FBI special agent and MSNBC contributor Clint Watts.
So, Max, thanks so much for being with us. You know, there's something that, when I was reading your article, stuck out at me that seemed to be different. You've heard the story of somebody on Facebook that will post something about their favorite band and will get 12 likes. Then they learn that if they post disinformation, say crazy things, they'll get like 10,000 likes. So we all understand that incentive. We understand the incentive of politicians, even if we disagree with it, sowing disinformation during political campaigns about their opponents or the other party. What I didn't get about this is who's paying to sow disinformation about vaccines when we're, you know, my God, in between presidential elections. What's the purpose of this? Who's benefiting from this sort of disinformation for hire?
So in this particular case, it looks like, at least who we can say benefits from this is the maker of Russia's Sputnik V coronavirus vaccine. But it's also possible that there was some other client who hired it out this work. And that's what's really, I think, scary about this, is that we can guess who's responsible based on who seems to benefit from it. But really, anyone with 10, 20, 30,000 bucks and a dark web account can now have their own kind of, you know, Russia meddling in the 2016 election style disinformation campaign to advance whatever agenda they want.
So you could have dark money, dark web account, and do this in local mayor's races, do it in state legislature, do it everywhere. So just by reading this article, obviously I think a lot of people were concerned that what we've seen in 2016 and beyond is only going to get worse. What are your thoughts? Is there any way to police this?
It's really hard to police it because it's so hard to track who's responsible. And some of these firms are, you know, you can name and shame. And one of the firms responsible was a big, glossy DC lobbying firm. And so in that case, you know, when the work got exposed, they got embarrassed. They backed away from this campaign where they were spreading disinformation on behalf of right-wing politicians in Latin America. But because a lot of it is, you know, basically email spammers that are based in Malaysia or based in Russia or based in Brazil, it is really, really hard to actually put a stop to it. And the platforms are, you know, they're playing a really impressive leading role in rooting out these campaigns and identifying it and exposing it. And I think Facebook and Twitter especially deserve a lot of credit for it. But at the same time, they've also created platforms that are designed in such a way, like you said, by maximizing engagement, by really encouraging conflict and divisiveness and conspiracies, that makes it so easy for anyone with a little bit of money and a dark web account to set one of these up.
Clint, Elise Jordan here. I'm confused a bit. Is this somewhat like non-state actors taking, or rogue actors taking, traditional influence operations and mutating them and doing it with absolutely no holds barred?
That's right, Elise. It is the Wild West. In 2018 was the last time I testified about Russian disinformation. I remember talking to some of the legislative staff afterwards, and the conclusion was if Congress doesn't create some rules, it will only be a matter of months till everyone is acquiring and buying these services for their political campaigns, for their social campaigns, for any multinational corporation or oligarch. When you look around the world, there's only really two entities at a nation state that can do this. Russia and China invest very heavily in disinformation on scale, but trolling as a service is a booming market. You see everyone jump into this. It only takes a little bit of a Bitcoin, some transmissions on a covert channel, and you can be up and trolling. And just a few months ago, I was talking to some reps of one of the vaccine makers. They said, well, we've been told there are 4 firms out there that are doing this work. 2 are in New York, 1's in London, and we don't know where the other one is. So it just shows you how prolific this is. And I would say my research teams, after many years of tracking nation states, our number one thing we track today are private sector actors that work for nation states. They work for different companies. They work for different political campaigns. And not only that, you will bump into them sometimes, and they will work on both sides of an issue. So they may be trolling for one politician one day. They might be working for another company that's doing something the exact opposite in terms of their messaging the next day.
Yeah. So, Max, tell me about the 2018 Cambridge Analytica scandal and how that was really the genesis of a lot of this work.
Yeah, exactly. So Cambridge Analytica was this private PR firm that was linked to some members of Donald Trump's campaign that was found to have bulk purchased user data from Facebook and then used all of this data on millions of people to segment and specifically target audiences with basically social media marketing that was dressed up as more kind of organic sentiment. And this was a big scandal for privacy reasons. But what it also did was it drew a lot of attention to the fact that social media marketing for political causes that is made to look like organic activity on social networks is relatively cheap to do and can be very lucrative and very effective because of the way that these platforms are set up. So you saw this explosion of firms suddenly getting into this work, some of which are very sophisticated and some of which are basically email spammers that saw that this is a way to make a little bit more of a buck. And then at the same time, at the other end, you had all of these governments around the world that saw what Russia did in the 2016 election and thought, that looks pretty good. But we either, like Clint said, don't have the technical know-how to do this, or we don't want to take the heat that Moscow took after getting pegged for this. So we're going to go to one of these private firms that will offer us a degree of deniability, that will bring us the technical know-how. And now you even see, as you mentioned, a lot of individual politicians getting into it. You know, a guy running for a mayor's race in a small town can go to one of these firms and run disinformation against his opponent because it's cheap and easy to do.
Max Fisher, thank you so much for your reporting. We appreciate it.